Hello friends, welcome back to my channel with a new video, and this is the continuation of the Green and Sustainable ICU video which we actually you saw the last time. We actually ended up in having the proposed pathway for the green or the sustainable ICU. And of course, we need to encourage the healthcare workers agency at the bedside, and we need to have all these R's which we discussed. So there has to be someone who should be at the core of the team building, and I feel it is the staff nurses which are best suited for this particular job, and you can actually make them the leaders for this particular project. And we need to empower them uh, to be the climate advocates. And of course, as I said, nurses and the ICU clinicians can have complementing roles where you have ICU leadership to encourage, appoint, set a departmental sustainability and waste reduction metrics, and advocate for environmentally friendly purchasing decisions. At the same time, we need to form a multidisciplinary ICU team which will include pharmacists, the respiratory therapists, the dietitians, or the food service staff, and I would probably call them as clinical nutritionists and the custodial staff. As far as the ICU Sustainable Committee is concerned, they will actually have the predominant area or the forte which looks after the escalation sustainability to issues to leadership and advocate for equipment or infrastructural changes. It will foster an inclusive culture of sustainability. It will collaborate with non clinical hospital staff to identify opportunities to decrease the waste and carbon emissions. And it will engage with other hospital units to adopt sustainable initiatives. So, this is in general how we can empower the ICU staff for the better kind of model. So, as we know that there is a definite toxicity and the side effect profile of a few particular drugs which are used in ICU or anesthesia, and they will have an impact on the bioaccumulation and the toxicity, and we'll see, and you will be surprised to know that this list has so many common medications which we use day in and out in ICU. So, talking about propofol, it actually accumulates more in the biosolid waste, and there is the high chance because of its high lipid solubility. It will have multiple effects, including the algae growth inhibition and acute toxicity in small crustaceans and the freshwater fish. So this is quite hazardous to the environment. Followed by talking about the opioids, which can cause genetic damage to bivalves and water fleas. The antibiotics, predominantly the macrolides and the quinolones, which will exhibit the pseudopersistence with toxicity to fish and amphibians, and the beta lactams, which are generally less toxic. The lidocaine, which will cause the metabolite which is called as MEGX, which is likely a carcinogenic propensity. Bupivacaine, which is having a less data on that, and of course paracetamol, which is toxic to bacteria, algae, and neurotoxic to crustaceans and the planarians. So by and large you will have a fair idea of how does this products or the medical medications cause environmental toxicity. And so these are the common hazardous material related to the waste disposal. And talking about the cadmium, which is highly toxic to animals and human beings in the low concentration. The chromium, which can cause wheeze, cough, or the chest pain, and lead, which can cause GI disturbances along with the nervous system. The dioxins, which can typically have entry from the skin, it can also cause GI upset and the the nervous system problems. The polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, which has a low risk, which is generally which can cause respiratory tract irritation. The BTEX compounds, the particulate matter, sulfur dioxide, and nitrogen oxides, all of these can cause the respiratory system abnormalities, predominantly the cough, wheezes, and acute exacerbation of asthma. And all of these can have chronic effects, and predominantly, as you could see, it is the respiratory system, either in the form of bronchoconstriction or refractory cough. So, these are the strategies which can reduce the ecological impacts of healthcare and the future research opportunities. So, talking about the reduction in demand for healthcare services and pharmaceuticals, to promote the green and blue procurement, to reduce the use of consumables, to reduce the impact of waste and disposal, and of course the future research. So these are the key elements in reducing the ecological impact, and these are the three main factors on which these parameters are actually dependent upon the healthcare, the environmental harm, and the illness. And these are the 10 very basic steps uh, to have an environmental sustainability, especially in ICU. So, develop a plan for turning off the lights, computer monitors, and the televisions when not in use, and we have talked about it. To develop a system for maximizing optimal temperatures using thermostat settings. To reduce the waste by recycling, reusing, using the reusable gowns, and those 3 hours and then the 10 hours which we talked about. To reduce the overtreatment of waste by carefully segregating infectious, pharmaceutical, hazardous, and the landfill wastes. Adopt or increase remanufacturing of the single use devices. Eliminate triclosan, especially from the hand sterilizers. Encourage your hospital to switch to green cleaning products. Join or create a green team. Create an action plan and join organization or alliances of the nurses for healthy environment, and of course stay educated and inspired. So not very difficult, but very kind of you need to have a meticulous approach to follow all this. Talking about the toxic chemicals used in healthcare, especially the cleaning products, uh, which can have asthmatic tendencies, allergies, and skin irritations. The DEHPs, which can have the hormone disrupting material or the chemical phthalate in that. The fragrances, which will actually reduce and eliminate, we can actually reduce it, but they can actually cause headaches, throat irritation, nausea, and forgetfulness. The phthalates, which we talk about, has hormone disrupting chemicals, which will also affect the fertility, and triclosan, which I was talking to you about, which is one of the most important ingredient, which used to be one of the most important ingredients in the hand sanitizer, along with the chlorhexidine and ethyl alcohol, which can actually link to the thyroid diseases, and of course is toxic to the aquatic life. So this is how it is, and as I said, we need to actually have a very sound knowledge about the footprint of ICU, regarding its toxins, the staff, the waste, and the consumption. So these are the again the four important kind of parameters on which the footprints of ICUs are based upon. And personal energy saving checklist which can be used is to switch to energy saving bulbs, to turn off the appliances, wash the clothes at 30 degrees or lower, turn down your thermostat, insulate the walls, floors, tanks, and windows, install the energy saving appliances, switch to green energy provider and generate your own energy like solar panels or solar photovoltaic cells and so on and so forth. So, of course, audit will be important, followed by education, the multidisciplinary team which we talked about, cycle of change, and local and global initiatives. So, probably we are aiming at a green ICU in near future, and I think it is a very upcoming concept of a green ICU where less is more, uh, avoid the reduce, reuse, and the recycle program, the daily rounds, which will take into consideration ethics and futility of care, the life cycle assessments, a reduction of energy use, which we talked upon in detail, and of course, as we have other teams in the hospital, you will always aim for a green team and with a smart approach that is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely approach. So we obviously will have green bundles as we have bundle for the sepsis bundle which we see, the VAP bundle. So similar on the similar lines, there would be days in near future where we have green bundles, and of course the environmental stewardship. So I think with this I stop here, and this was the message which I wanted to put across to you. And this is all for today in this video. Bye bye and take care.